We can't wait. Kat, thank you. And as you heard Kat talk about, the biggest danger right now, the flash flood warnings with all that rain coming down, making for dangerous driving conditions.
We heard her say also that the roads are a mess right now, something we have been watching very carefully. As a matter of fact, we have Brett Neese and the WRAL Storm Tracker right now. Brett, you are at I-40 at Jones Sausage Road, and I think there was a crash there you've been following as well.
That's right, Chris, and that crash has just cleared within the past 5 minutes on the westbound side. We're parked on the eastbound side. Let me show you outside the storm tracker right now. We'll try to wipe off some of the raindrops there, and you can see some of the traffic that is going westbound back towards Raleigh. It's starting to move again, which is really good news. As we mess with the camera there and try to zoom in down the way on I-40, there is a lot of traffic there off in the distance, still from this particular crash. And you can see as the rain starts to come towards this direction, towards the Raleigh area, it was a lot clearer just about 5 minutes or so ago. But if you look through the fogginess, the mistiness there, a lot of traffic coming on the westbound side. That should clear up within the next 20 minutes or so after this crash has now cleared at this point. But really the road conditions are a mess. You can see the water that is churning up behind some of these cars. As you can see, everybody's got their windshield wipers going. We have our windshield wiper going, and it really is a tough situation out here. If you don't have to be out on the roads right now, it's best not to be. We're going to get moving here in the storm tracker right now, actually, and get going towards some other areas where we might have some storm damage. We're going to continue to check back in with different areas, but really the toughest part right now is all the water that is on the roads, making it ponding, and the hydroplaning issues that we see out on the roads. Windshield wipers going right now. We, of course, are staying safe here in this WRAL storm tracker. We'll continue to check back in with you as we find more areas that are trouble areas at this point. Live in Raleigh, Brett Neese, WRAL News.
Brad, thank you. And obviously that's not the only place that we're tracking, just one that we're seeing here in our area.
Yeah, Ken Smith is keeping an eye on road conditions as well. And Ken, any problem spots that you're seeing?
Right now, the real troubled spot is a crash that we just reported on the beltline this morning. The northern loop of the beltline, it just happened just a little while ago. This is on the I-40 East, 440 eastbound near Wake Forest Road. You can see the backup that it's causing in those eastbound lanes as well. Let's take a live look at that camera there at I-440 and Wake Forest Road. They've moved the camera on me just now, but you can see that when I looked at that camera, traffic was still moving nicely in both directions. As we isolate the beltline, we are seeing a bit of a slowdown between Lake Wheeler Road and over to Gorman Street, as well as over in the Cary area. We're seeing a little bit of a slowdown just before you get to Western Boulevard this morning. So keep that in mind as you're about to head out. Elsewhere, you can see the slowdown that Brett just talked about, that crash down there I-40 westbound on Jones Sausage Road. But elsewhere, all the major routes are delay-free this noon hour.
Ken, thank you. Ken, I was thinking one thing we were tracking today just about you. I think you slipped a letter over to Amy Wilmoth about an alert that went out over to the students at UNC.
Yeah, it was around 10:30. So Chapel Hill, Orange County was under tornado warning. And we also got word that UNC Chapel Hill had activated its sirens and sent out emergency notifications to those students. So we sent Heidi Kirk over to Chapel Hill to check things out. And you're there on Franklin Street. Have you been able to talk to some students there?
Renee, we actually just arrived here within the last 10 minutes or so and have just been kind of surveying the area. As you're going to see behind me, there's actually quite a bit of traffic out right now. Lots of students out and about walking around. But again, they did receive that emergency alert within the hour asking them to take shelter amid some of those tornado warnings that we've been talking about on the air all morning. I can imagine it was quite a scary moment for some of these students. And as you can see, we're not seeing a lot of flooding, not a lot of people around here right now, not a lot of impacts, but we're going to be surveying this entire area and bringing you live updates as they continue to come into our newsroom. Renee, Chris.
All right, that was Heidi Kirk live in Chapel Hill. They still had classes today, but many other school systems decided to call off school today because of the impacts of Helene.
Well, then you also had event organizers watching some events happening this weekend to see if they had to maybe cancel them or push them back, and one of them including the IBMA Bluegrass Festival in Raleigh. As a matter of fact, we have Destiny Patterson there right now, as it's been pushed back in terms of the start until 5 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken, Destiny.
That's correct. Luckily, we have started to see some of that rain slow down. We just had a lot of wind and rain in the area. We're standing just outside of the convention center here. All of the events and performances that are happening inside are still happening. We saw several performers that I talked to that were putting tarps around their instruments to protect them from that heavy rain in the area. But as that rain and as that wind was coming through, we could see why organizers opted to push back the street festival that happens just about a block away here on Fayetteville Street.
I mean, really, it's the wind that's going to be an issue for us as we raise these stages and put in all the tents. 20 to 25-mile-an-hour winds down this stretch of Fayetteville Street can double because this street, as we all know, can be a wind tunnel, and it's just not safe to be laying that equipment out.
Again, that street festival kicks off tonight at 5 o'clock. Usually it would have started midday here today. You can see they have already started preparations for the Red Hat Amphitheater. Performances will also start here at 5 o'clock. I've checked in with organizers to see if that timing will be pushed back, but that is the latest that we have heard. This is also the last World of Bluegrass Festival that's set to happen here in Raleigh before they move to Tennessee, and it's a wet one, so people are still trying to stay as optimistic as they can be. And you can find updates about the festival on their social media sites. Destiny Patterson, WRAL News, Raleigh.
And it's sad to think about, some people obviously enjoy that festival, but it being the last year and this happening, it's disappointing.
Well, and if there's one good thing about Helene, it is a quick moving storm. And once this pushes out, our weekend weather should be pretty decent.